Friends, what is consciousness? How do we experience ourselves and the world around us? What is the relationship between the mind and the soul and the body? What is awareness and self-awareness? What is spirituality? And can physics explain consciousness and maybe spirituality? Is a state of consciousness, a result of irritating a nervous tissue, as the neurologists would say? This and many more such questions will be answered in today's episode. Let's seek some answers to these questions. Classical mechanics cannot explain consciousness and spirituality. However, scales much smaller than that may be useful. Quantum is the smallest possible discrete unit of a physical property, such as energy or matter. So one can construct quantum physics, quantum chemistry, quantum mind, and so on. Quantum physics is the study of matter and energy at the most fundamental level. Quantum phenomena happens all around us all the time. So can quantum physics explain consciousness, since our mind also is matter and energy? Whereas a quantum state in superposition is an addition of other distinct quantum states, a group of particles is entangled when a quantum state of each particle cannot be described independently of the quantum state of other particles. This is an important articulation, since the brain's function and our consciousness is also very similar. Simply put, our consciousness is a superposition and entanglement of matter and energy in its quantum form. This is what gives our mind incredible power of thought and consciousness. Spirituality is the recognition that there is something greater than us, something more to being human than to our sensory experience, which could be cosmic or divine in nature. As human beings, do we cognize the objects of experience not as they actually are, but as they appear to us under sensibility, a phenomena seen in quantum mechanics? Are we all only sentient creatures capable of sensing and responding to this world? Actually, consciousness has many more levels of reality. At the primary level, it is bodily in nature, but rises to higher levels to the spirit of consciousness or self-consciousness. However, when we move to higher levels of consciousness, do we also lose our body consciousness? Vedanta in Hinduism and even Buddhism points out that the body becomes conceptually detached when we experience higher levels of consciousness. Why does that happen? Was our body constraining our consciousness from generating new meanings of consciousness? Is a highest consciousness a body detached consciousness? Now, is there a soul in the human being? If it is, then why is a human being not sensible of it in sleep or while he is sleeping? However, our being sensible of it is only in our thoughts. Though the question is it essential to our thoughts as well as to our personal identity? In the Western philosophy of mind-body dualism denotes the view that mental phenomena are non-physical and that the mind and body are distinct and separable. Hence, it's a relationship between the mind and the matter, as well as between an object and a subject. But Vedanta, the ultimate darshana in Hindu philosophy, speaks of infinitely many more degrees of consciousness and perhaps some degrees of even unconsciousness. The Western philosophy defines 6 degrees such as awareness, bias, consciousness, hypnosis, priming, sleep, and trance. In Advaita Vedanta, consciousness levels are absolute or Brahma Chaitanya, cosmic or Ishvara Chaitanya, individual or Jiva Chaitanya, and in dwelling consciousness or Sakshi Chaitanya. Now, however, the true nature of consciousness is singular or non-dual. So we experience absolute existence or Sat, pure consciousness, or Chit, and bliss, which is Ananda. It considers mind as the subtle form of the matter, where the body is the gross form of consciousness and is considered finer than mind matter and hence all pervasive, omnipresent, and omniscient, which is the Brahman. We may distinguish conscious from unconscious states by the intra-mental dynamics, what happens inside the brain. Actually, it is much higher than merely a complex interplay between the neurons and the synapses, the neuronal junctions, which transmit electric nerve impulses between two neurons or between a neuron and a gland or muscle cell or an effector. Can we actually explain consciousness through naturalism, arguing that all that happens is natural, supporting it by science or by empiricism, which argues that knowledge comes only from sensory experience, or by reductionalism, where we reduce a complex phenomena to simple events? Can we answer consciousness in the theory of non-duality as in Vedanta? Probably we need to look at the metaphysics of consciousness or consciousness of being conscious. General metaphysical theories explain consciousness in the ontological schemes, which is really reality as it is. It is not fully pursued by this or that individual consciousness. Is thought and consciousness the same? Or is a thought necessary for consciousness to prevail? Electromagnetic fields are regarded as real in the physical world. The strength of such a field will be based on the particle behavior that makes the field. However, the field alone cannot be seen as particle behavior. Similarly, consciousness refers to a component which has both a desire to understand Brahman and also a higher order state that Brahman actually exists. Unconscious mental states lack the relevant higher order states about them. Therefore, one is unconscious. Whereas the cognitive theory associates consciousness with a distinct cognitive architecture, the neural theory of consciousness relates the chemical reactions to the thought processes. Can the physical theories go beyond the neural and place the consciousness in a micro-physical level of quantum phenomena? There is a physical reality about quantum mechanics. Can it bridge the psycho-physical gap in explaining consciousness? Quantum mechanics could provide a way out. There is a coherent unity of consciousness. Consciousness relates to the production within the brain of a physical state similar to a Bose-Einstein condensate, which is a state of matter in which separate atoms at subatomic particle level, cooled to near absolute zero, coalesce, combine into a single quantum mechanical entity. That is, the distinction between discrete atoms is completely lost. Our brain also does similar things with 86 billion neurons. This corroborates the non-dualism theory as well. Friends, all said and done, the theories of consciousness, whether cognitive, neural, or quantum, explain consciousness as a natural feature of the physical world. However, we need to combine the quantum mechanical theory to Advaita Vedanta, defined dualism, to create a more rational meaning. The thoughts expressed today are deeply reflective. Maybe they are complex. I seek upon every one of you to reflect in that spirit. With that, I end this Saturday's episode with a promise to be back the next Saturday. Until then, thank you. Dhanyawad and Namaskar.